Over the next few days, the gang held Luciana captive in the house. They only let her leave for more humiliating performances at their hideout, parading her bald head around as they hooted and hollered. The leader would shout harsh commands at Luciana. "Dance! Faster! Keep going!" She complied robotically, all spirit drained away. At night, the men would take turns coming to the house to abuse her further. Luciana cried herself to sleep every night, praying this was just a nightmare she'd wake up from. But the nightmare continued with no end in sight. The gang was determined to break Luciana completely, body and soul. A few days later, the leader barged into Luciana's room and barked at her to get up. "It's time for another haircut!" Luciana shakily got to her feet, dreading what was coming. The leader grabbed her arm roughly and dragged her back to the warehouse. The other men were waiting eagerly again, clippers in hand. Luciana was forced into the chair as before. "My hair is already shaved off," she cried out. "Please, just let me go." The leader squeezed her cheeks hard, staring menacingly into her eyes. "Silence! We decide when you get a haircut, not you." Luciana whimpered as the buzzing clippers were brought to her already bald head. She squeezed her eyes shut at the horrible scraping sensation. The men oohed and ahed as they slowly sheared off Luciana's short stubble, leaving her scalp totally smooth and exposed once more. When they finally finished, the leader ran his hand roughly over Luciana's naked scalp. "Very nice," he said with a smirk. "Now go get dressed for your performance." Luciana was shoved into a small changing room. Laid out was a skimpy, see-through outfit that revealed her breasts and hips. "No, please, I can't wear this," Luciana begged the men standing guard. One man grabbed her arm forcefully. "You'll wear what we tell you to wear," he barked. "Now put it on, or you'll be punished." With tears in her eyes, Luciana slowly changed into the revealing costume. She felt utterly exposed and degraded, parading around in front of the leering gang like this. The leader ogled her lasciviously when she came out. "Perfect," he purred. "Now dance." He turned on the music again. Luciana swayed and shook, her bald scalp and nearly naked body on display for their amusement. The men whooped and hollered, saying vulgar things that made Luciana's skin crawl. She had never felt so violated and ashamed. When the ordeal finally ended, Luciana collapsed in despair. She didn't know how much more abuse she could take from these evil men. Over the next weeks, the horrific cycle continued. Luciana was regularly dragged from her cell to be reshaved bald and forced to dance in skimpy outfits for the gang's entertainment. Each time they sheared her hair off, Luciana begged and pleaded for them to stop, but her cries only seemed to fuel their cruelty. The non-stop abuse was breaking Luciana. She started having frequent nightmares about being chased by the gang with clippers. One day, the leader came up with a new sick game. "It's time you shaved your own head," he sneered, handing Luciana the buzzing clippers. Luciana's hand shook as she took them. She didn't want to erase her short fuzz herself. The leader put his face right up to hers. "Do it!" he commanded harshly. Tears streaming down her face, Luciana slowly brought the vibrating clippers to her own scalp. She ran them across her head over and over, erasing the stubble. The men laughed and taunted her as she reluctantly shaved herself completely bald yet again. "Look, boys, she's crying while she does it," one man jeered cruelly. Luciana shut her eyes, willing this nightmare to end. After weeks as their prisoner, Luciana felt herself starting to break. The endless cycles of abuse were crushing her spirit. After being forced to shave her own head, Luciana felt lower than she ever had before. The gang made her dance that night in just a tiny bikini, hooting and hollering as her naked scalp gyrated for their amusement. After the humiliating performance, Luciana was thrown back in her dingy cell, feeling utterly broken. She curled up on the dirty cot and sobbed into her pillow. The next morning, Luciana awoke blearily to the sound of the cell door being unlocked. The leader stood there with an evil glint in his eye. "Time for your daily head shave," he announced. Luciana didn't even resist as they dragged her back to the warehouse. The men prepared the clippers and chair, their eyes filled with sick excitement. Luciana sat down limply, too exhausted to struggle or plead anymore. As the buzzing of the clippers filled the air once more, Luciana stared straight ahead, void of all emotion. She didn't even wince as they scraped away what little fuzz had grown back on her scalp. The men made disappointed noises, wanting to see Luciana suffer, but she just sat there numbly as they finished shaving her head completely bald. "Why isn't she crying about her hair this time?" one man complained. The leader grabbed Luciana's face, but her eyes remained vacant. "Dance!" he ordered her harshly. Luciana stood up and began swaying weakly to the music, no longer caring that she was degraded for their amusement. After weeks of constant abuse, Luciana's spirit had finally broken. She was now just a shell of herself, obeying their commands like a robot. The gang grew bored with their lifeless, bald plaything. After the dance, the leader had her dragged back to her cell and locked away without a word. Luciana lay on her cot in despair. Hello, friends. I wanted to take a moment to thank you sincerely for watching my videos and engaging with my channel. Your views, comments, likes, and subscriptions mean the world to me and are what motivate me to keep creating content. If you're enjoying my videos, please consider sharing them with your family and friends. Word of mouth is so important for helping my channel grow, so I'd be grateful if you could tell others about me. And if there are any particular topics or stories you want me to cover in future videos, let me know in the comments. I love hearing your input. Your suggestions help shape the direction of my channel. Well, that's all for now. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for your support on this journey. I can't wait to continue connecting with you all through videos as the year continues. Until next time.